Aren't y'all tired of these clout-chasing, no chemistry having, over-the-hill gatekeeping radio podcast hosts who just provide no culturally concise commentary?
We actually got something for that.
This is Touchdowns and Tangents, your weekly spot for NFL takes, topical tangents, and context for the culture. So tune in, because you never know if you're going to get a take, a tangent, but either way, it's a touchdown.
What's up, good people? This is Touchdowns and Tangents, your Thursday night spot for NFL takes, topical tangents, concise commentary for the culture. I'm PD Camarillo, live from Las Vegas. On the line, we got our boy, Kenneth Frank James Berry, live from Hawthorne, California. And shout out to Nikki. She's got a personal situation going on. But our love and thoughts and prayers are with her. But yeah, man, how you feeling, Kenny?
Pretty good. Some spring cleaning, got some candles. Ran into some people we actually used to be on the same radio network with. So, you know, hey, Hawthorne's a small town.
Huh, that's interesting. You didn't tell me about that. Off air.
I forgot to until just now.
Interesting. To be continued. But yeah, man, we got a lot of shit to talk about this week, so let's just jump right into it.
Let's talk about it.
It's Super Bowl week, in case you missed it. Super Bowl's coming to Vegas for the first time ever. I'm out here. It's been interesting being out here. The Strip definitely has sprinkles of Super Bowl all throughout. The Caesars Hotel has like this whole like Super Bowl like projector thing going on. The Bellagio Fountain has a bunch of Super Bowl signage and trophies and lights in the fountains. That's where CBS Sports is doing their little broadcast. But yeah, just Super Bowl banners throughout. Super Bowl banners all over the hotels. Super Bowl parties, events, all over the Strip. So it's definitely been a takeover. A lot of the streets are open and closed. Even Allegiant Stadium, like a lot of the parking's taken over. They like low-key have like a container city set up around the stadium. Like it's all crazy where you got to get dropped off at. The main Super Bowl experience has been at the Mandalay Bay. In there's all kinds of like games, you know, different bag drills you can do, which I would love to see media do. I would literally pay to see some media try to like move a sled and move through some bags. But yeah, you can see all the different Super Bowl ticket stubs, Super Bowl rings. You could take all kinds of pictures. They got like a mock draft stage. They got like a HBC end zone. They got like a exhibit showing the timeline of the NFL. Basically, they got like a Raiders chronological, yeah, a little Raiders exhibit. Just showing kind of the contributions Al Davis has made to the league. The Chiefs are wearing a "Don't Forget the AFL" patch, which is pretty tight. And yeah, it's nice to see Al finally get his flowers for really helping facilitate the merger and setting up what is now the Super Bowl and America's greatest event. But yeah, overall, it's been kind of crazy being out here. I got a lot of content. I think I've did at least 30 questions to various athletes. There's been media events basically every day the past 4 days. And I feel like I've really been adding to the conversation, not just kind of asking the same questions like, oh, talk about the Chiefs offense, or how are you going to cover Kelsey, or, you know, just generic questions that anybody could answer. Like, I won't say them, but you know what I'm talking about. I haven't just been taking selfies and shaking hands and networking. Really been out here.
catching passes.
Just really trying to understand, where these players' heads at. Just trying to get them to go a little bit more into their background, what it means to them to be here in this moment, with everything that they've been through leading up to this, the cities and the areas and the people that they represent. Just really trying to focus in on that. Because, really, that's what this podcast is about. Just kind of like the culture of football. The X's and O's are going to take care of themselves. Anybody can ask about that. And some of these journalists, they really they try to sound smart by, like, asking the question, but then it's like the player ends up having to explain, like, the most simple things. And you can tell some of them just really get annoyed.
They're technically just media, some people.
Well, I think the journalists are the ones asking the questions.
Yeah. Sometimes you over ask because you don't want to like come off stupid to a player.
It's more of like, the 49ers key in on which way they're running the ball by how they come out in this and this formation. Like, how do you like recognize that? Like, bro, you just answered the question that you asked.
Yeah.
And then they end up having to explain, like, well, like, if everyone has gap integrity and then, like, they do their job and I take on the linemen, it's like, bruh, yeah, duh. Like, that's any play. Like, and that's what I'm saying. It's not the player's fault. Like, they're just, like, explaining what they do every day in layman's terms, but it's like, these people don't really know what they're trying to ask. They're just trying to ask something. And they're trying to not look stupid in the process. So
it's a fine line sometimes.
I give the foreign media a pass. They're new to football. And I feel like the players do too. But I'm just saying it's more of like the dudes trying to ask these intricate football questions. And it's like you could just tell that they've never like blocked anybody. Like, what's the difference between blocking in line and blocking as a fullback? Like, well, one, you're generating power from nothing, and the other one, you got to have the speed to get to a certain spot, but also the balance to deliver the power. So,
and they probably don't know what a fire step is.
I don't know what a fire step is.
On gap down. Okay, usually fire step is pretty much you're going towards the play. Like if you're offensive lineman, you're taking a step towards the play. And on gap down is like, is somebody on you? Well, that's your guy. Is somebody in your gap? Well, that's also your guy if nobody else is on you. And then the down step
so a zone
like,
step?
You're going to get a linebacker. You step
so
down
a down block?
To go to, yeah, it's pretty much a run. It's a run blocking rule.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about.
I ran the wing tee, bro. That's why.
Clearly.
We had different names for shit that, looking back, probably didn't need that many names for it. But hey.
Well,
if you ask any lineman who plays at a Super Bowl, they can tell you what on gap down means. But not everybody played in the wing tee, so they're like, that's a dumbass system. I still don't know what the fuck
you're talking about, but okay.
All right, man.
So, whatever. Who should I play? I'll start with Pacheco since that was kind of quasi your question. Basically, I asked the Chiefs running back, kind of like, how he represents Jersey in the locker room and on the field. It's funny because I think his second media availability, when it was over, he just like stood up and he was like, yeah, like this funny ass face, like, hell yeah, like it's over. That shit had me dying. I wish I would have recorded it. But you could tell he's just a very like high energy player, like, like people really like being around him. Obviously, I think he comes from Puerto Rican descent, so the Spanish media was kind of all over him. So yeah, I'll start here.
Gonna get in a battle?
Nah, damn.
But yeah, so that was today.
Justin Reed probably got something to say about that.
Speaking of that, he was a good. So I asked Justin Reed the first day, basically. I just kind of asked him, like, you're a Stanford grade, Christian McCaffrey's a Stanford grade, like,
Brad,
what does it mean for, the Stanford program to kind of have you two facing off? And he just pretty much was like, yeah, I know Cardinal Nation's going to be torn, but, Christian's a great player. I'm a great player. It's great for Stanford all around just for us to play together. But throughout the week, I had heard him really talking about his community outreach, the different programs that he's doing in Houston, Missouri, and Louisiana. And so, like, today, he was a little bit lighter in terms of media, so I just went up and just asked him kind of, like, where did that passion come from? Like what was kind of the blueprint for that? So this is what he had to say.
All week, I've heard you talk about your community work. I see the passion when you talk about it. Where did it come from? Like, where did it start for you?
Yeah, it started. And Danny, we have a lot of things, that try.
So that's pretty much some of the good stuff that I got from the Chiefs, at least today. Now on the Niners side, what should I play, Kenny?
I mean, you got some Trent Williams, you got some Kyle Juszczyk. Like, what? Who you feeling? Who stood out to you?
I'm not gonna lie. All the Niners interviews were kind of good. Like, they all kind of said some, like, swaggy ass shit. So
they're media trained.
Adjacent.
All right,
But like
2 stars and a role player. How about that?
Yeah, bro. I still don't really know where to go.
All right, pick Kittle if you said something really good.
I didn't get Kittle. He was too busy. He had a lot
Pick
of shit
a D
going on.
lineman. You got a D lineman?
I got yeah, I got Green. I got Ken. Fuck, I always get him mixed up. I got the dude from the Eagles.
Jason Hargrave?
Yeah, there you go. I always get Hargrave, Kinlaw, and Greenlaw mixed up.
His law? Yeah. You get CMC?
Yeah, I got CMC. I asked him what he'll do when he catches Justin Reed in the open field. He didn't really answer, but he gave a good answer on Justin Reed. I could play that.
Yeah, play some CMC.
He didn't want to answer that one. He turned real quick.
I could imagine him not wanting to answer that.
But yeah, so other than that, I mean, I got Fred Warner kind of talking about how Bobby Wagner has been a mentor to him.
Play it.
That that was on the first night.
Let's hear some Fred Warner. San Diego native.
Keep in here. Here, I'll give you this is the one that's going most viral on Twitter. It's Jake Brendel, former UCLA standout.
Sleeper.
Yeah, just talking about the Bruin lineage of offensive linemen. And then here's Fred talking a little bit about just kind of like the brotherhood of linebackers.
Just around the league.
Yeah, like you mentioned Bobby, you mentioned D'Amico.
I mean, this game is my teammates and friendship with, and he's like a mentor to me now, and I'm forever, grateful for that.
All right, and then I could play Brian Ayuk talking about JUCO. I could play Trent Williams talking about 6 Sooners in the game. Arik Armstead talking about Sacramento being the leader at Farm to Table. Got Rasheed Rice talking about KC barbecue over Texas barbecue.
Which is interesting because he went to SMU and was at the Senior Bowl.
I know.
Let's hear some JUCO. I'm gonna hear some JUCO quotes.
All right, here you go. That Grays one felt personal.
Oh yeah, we if you're a JUCO, JUCO stand. If you made it out of a JUCO, you know the whole grades is a trigger warning.
Yeah, and I'll play this one since he's a guy we covered at the NFL PA Bowl.
But Jerry, any advice for players out there who are maybe trying to figure out their position, maybe didn't get in the first tier bowl game, just trying to figure it out on the journey like you?
Yeah, just believe in yourself.
But Jerry,
I like that. Never leave on yourself. Exactly. Never leave on yourself.
Never leave on yourself.
Never leave on yourself. Believe in yourself. Never leave on yourself.
I heard it. I just needed to hear it again.
Louisiana. And then
play some Trent. Yeah, you can play some Trent.
All right.
And for me, that was something special because, coming from California, it was.
is that important? Talk a little bit about his legacy and importance.
Really dove into his.
Was a corner Trent McDuffie. He also told me at the first night he's a UW dog for life. Shout out Bosco is the best school in California. Said they're still winning.
How does that make you feel as an IE guy?
I mean, he's not wrong.
The best team in the country.
He's not wrong. But...
Bellflower / Long Beach.
All right, we'll close with the 2 Sooners for Nikki.
Got to.
Here is Creed Humphrey.
And really just command of the offense so fast, as a center. Yeah. Trent mentioned there's 6 Sooners playing this game.
Yeah, 6.
What does that mean to OU football?
I think it's huge. It's a testament to
Trent corrected me on how many Sooners were playing.
But what does it mean to Oklahoma football to have 2 in the game?
Yeah, I think we got 6.
Yeah, man, as you can tell, it's been a circus of a week. Everyone just jumping in with their questions all week. But it was a fun, great experience. Really feel like I got out there. Really feel like my questions resonated with the players for the most part. Feel like the only one who wasn't really fucking with my questions was Chris Jones, but it's Chris Jones, so he can do whatever the fuck he wants.
And he's a massive human being.
If Chris Jones told me to go stand in the fucking corner, I would go stand in the corner.
I'm not standing in the corner.
I'm just saying.
Bro,
if he was like, bro, take a lap, I'll be like, all right.
I'm not going to take a lap. I mean, I might take a lap, but like, because I want to, not because he told me to.
Yeah, that's.
I'm gonna go get something to eat and come back.
You gonna end up on the practice squad.
Hey, I'm still in the ring.
They're gonna be like, hey Kenny, I heard Chris told you to take a lap. No, man, I went and took a lap anyways. I needed to stretch.
No, I felt the tension in the air, so I evacuated the premises because he looked like he wasn't in a good mood. And I'm not taking no shit off of him, but I'm also not going to lose my job behind this.
But yeah, man, so other than that, Super Bowl predictions, as much as I hate to say it, I feel like I got to go with the Niners, bro. Like, they just got too many offensive weapons. Chiefs' defense is really young, really versatile, athletic. But I feel like the Niners, man, everything's been going against him this week. Their facility's not as nice as the Chiefs. They've been talking about how the grass is messed up. They've been talking about how there's a big-ass leak in their ceiling. Like, the fire alarm went off in their hotel. Like, so just a lot of shit's been going against them. I feel like they've been hearing about 2019 all week, hearing about Kelsey and Mahomes all week. They've been hearing about Reed all week.
Taylor Swift,
and I feel like they're just going to come together, and just make that shit happen. I really feel that way.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised.
It just comes down to the O-line, bro. For me, I mean, if they let, Dana and Karlaftis, become household names off this game, and Purdy's, running for his life, then it's probably going to be over before it gets started. But if they can protect him, and he can just get the ball out to Devo and CMC and Kittle and Gesicki and make those guys tackle all day long, like, they got a chance. I mean, defensively, I mean, you could say that the Niners have underachieved to an extent with all the talent that they have. And you could say their weakness is kind of in the secondary. But you could also say the weakness with the Chiefs is on the outside. So I feel like that kind of cross cancels. But ultimately, I think it's just going to come down to who tackles better and who can create more pressure on the QB, which is really fucking fundamental football, I know.
Man, let's be real. It's just kind of how it has to work. Like, it's really going to come down to who has the ball last, personally. Because I don't think Patrick Mahomes is going to, play bad forever. I thought he played bad against the Ravens.
Yeah.
Like, he's the reason they won. Even though the Ravens shut them out in the second half, which people don't actually remember. Like, they pretty much shut them out. Like, you kind of have to just accept that. Well, if you're a Raiders fan, this is the worst Super Bowl of your life, especially during Black History Month. Also, RIP to one of the GOATs, Apollo Creed, aka Carl Weathers.
For sure.
Former Raider linebacker, San Diego State standout. My mom told me a couple stories about him because growing up in Oakland during a certain time, he just had a fucking body apparently. Especially West Oakland, from like the '60s to the '80s on. Everybody has a story about a Raiders player. But yeah, it's gonna be, if I had to put a score on it. I think the longer the game goes, the better it looks for the Niners. Honestly.
I mean, we didn't really talk about it because, we didn't have a show last week. But, I mean, there's, really, low key, neither of these teams should be here. I mean, Detroit had, a 3-score lead in the first half over San Francisco. Detroit was popping bottles and bumping Motown, all excited, and they got shut out in the second half. And, Baltimore scored first. Kansas City scored a few times. I think they had, a 10-point lead at halftime. And, I mean, Zay Flowers basically fumbled the bag to kind of put them back in position to score. I mean, I think they missed a field goal. Not missed a field goal. They turned it over on down. No, they threw an interception in the red zone. So the Ravens really just had a lot of missed opportunities. Really, I mean, it easily could have been Baltimore and Detroit in the Super Bowl. So I think both of these teams kind of realized that, and I think that's why they're both really living in the moment. Because, yeah, they've been here before, but they also know how damn hard it is to get here again. And how close they both were to not even being here. So, ultimately, I think it's probably going to be the best game we've seen in a bit. I mean, the Rams-Bengals game was pretty good. But that's with an asterisk. I think overall we'll just see some good football this week.
Got Niners winning. I want to say 31 to. Nah, because your kicker sucks, and this is a bunch of field goals. I'm gonna go 31-27. Niners win.
See? All right, moving on. Super Bowl. That's a wrap. NFL honors just dropped tonight. Hall of Fame class released. Pat Willis is in, finally. Great for him. 5 All-Pros in 8 years. Standout guy, much like
7
myself.
Pro Bowls and
Took his
9
siblings in, just kind of like I did.
Devin Hester's in.
Devin Hester's in, return man.
Johnson.
Andre Johnson
Julius
finally
Peppers.
frees up the wide receiver logjam a little bit.
Julius Peppers, who's a freak of nature.
He's first ballot, right? Or second ballot?
I think he's first ballot. Now, you know who got screwed is
Dwight Freeney.
States.
Wait, let's finish talking about who's in, and then we can talk about who's not. Dwight Freeney finally gets in, probably the best undersized pass rusher we've ever seen. Most vicious spin move.
Ran a 4.48. People forget that.
I think there's like 2 other people that got in.
Steve Mongo McMichael from the wrestler. He's battling not MS, but it's something worse. But yeah, he got in. Richard Dent called him to let him know. Yeah.
Randy Gradishar.
That's infamous Bears defense.
So, as far as who didn't get in,
a senior player, I forget his name.
As far as who didn't get in, you alluded to it. Antonio Gates really should have been a first ballot.
Most touchdowns all time for an undrafted player. Most touchdowns all time for a tight end. Literally the greatest statistical tight end of all time. Check out Super Bowls because that's a team metric, not an individual metric. If Antonio Gates was so good, like he got Malcolm Floyd paid and Vincent Jackson. God bless the dead. Like Antonio Gates was so good, you knew he was the number 1 receiver as a tight end, and he was a better blocker than Tony Gonzalez. Like Antonio Gates not getting in is arguably a worse snub than T.O. Because Antonio Gates was loved by the media.
Jared Allen still can't get in.
Which makes no sense if you're going to let Freeney in and Peppers. I don't know what they're doing. Because Robert Mathis has more sacks than Freeney.
Torrey Holt still hasn't got in.
I mean, I wish Andre Johnson's better than Torrey Holt, but Torrey Holt's a Hall of Fame receiver. And it's not fair to be like, oh, he only got the 1 Super Bowl. Bro, that was like his rookie year damn near.
Fred Taylor, Eric Allen.
They're just not respecting running backs and corners.
Steve Smith Sr.
I just want to know how you don't say Asante Samuels is not a Hall of Fame corner. He's a Hall of Fame corner. He changed the way teams attack coverages too. People don't like to admit that. Like you run a zone blitz with Asante Samuel, he don't need no safety help. He jumping the route. And the number of pick sixes he has says something. When he damn near got more picks than Deion Sanders, how is he not a Hall of Famer?
Reggie
I
Wayne
just don't
still
understand
not
the criteria
in.
anymore. Antonio Gates is the
Jari
first
Evans.
Hall of Famer.
Said Fred Taylor already.
Running backs just aren't going to get in. They're just not going to put running backs in.
All right.
Like Marshawn Lynch, you could say arguably Marshawn Lynch is a Earl Campbell clone. So you just don't put him in?
I don't know about that.
Slightly better hands than Earl Campbell.
I don't think they're that
He's an
similar.
Earl Campbell clone.
I don't think they're that similar.
About the same 40 time.
I think Earl Campbell ran a lot higher.
Earl Campbell ran through people's faces.
I know, but he ran a lot higher.
Huh?
He ran a lot higher.
That is true.
Like he would
still had all those yards.
He just would I don't know.
He can barely walk now.
Yeah, he just had exceptional leg drive. Like, I mean, Marshawn has it too, but I think Marshawn he just runs a lot lower.
He's
He
smarter,
has a more
lower, and he's
leverage.
stronger than you, and he's fast as hell. Like Adrian Peterson ran a 4.4 flat. Marshawn Lynch ran like a 4.44 or 4.46. Like he was pretty close to AP in terms of 40 time. That's what people forget. Like everybody, that's why I hated when Madden would make him slow and then give him no agility. I'm like, y'all disrespectful.
But yeah, moving on to the NFL honors. Lamar Jackson won the MVP for the fucking culture. Second MVP. Browns.
Imagine Zay Flowers just caught that fucking ball. It just went down.
Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski, he wins AP Coach of the Year. I think that's warranted given what the Browns went through at the quarterback position and still found a way to make it in the playoffs.
And they lost Nick Chubb. People like forget that too.
True.
They had historically one of the best defenses in the league.
Joe Flacco won Comeback Player of the Year, which makes
People
a lot
were
of
mad
sense since he was
DeMar
literally
didn't
sitting on
get
the
it.
couch.
Because DeMar died on the field and came back.
No comment. Christian McCaffrey wins Offensive Player of the Year. Myles Garrett wins Defensive Player of the Year. I don't think there's any surprises there. CJ Stroud, Offensive Rookie of the Year.
When did TJ Watt get it, though?
I think he got it like 2 years ago.
What does TJ Watt have to do?
Didn't he get it like 2 years ago?
Yeah, but like, he was so good this year.
Will Anderson Jr. wins Defensive Rookie of the Year. Imagine having the Offensive and Defensive Rookie of the Year. That's crazy.
I disagree with that, though. Kobe Turner had 9.5 sacks as a D tackle and was like he was a later round pick for the Rams. I get why Puka got shut out. You're not beating out a QB for that award.
I think Puka
Will
should have won it.
I can make a point.
I think Puka should have won it. But I'm fine with CJ winning it.
QBs over receivers, man. That's how it works. That's the rub.
Jim Schwartz wins Assistant Coach of the Year.
That's interesting. It wasn't
Bobby Wagner won the Sportsmanship of the Year award. Calais Campbell won the Alan Page Community Award.
Cam Hayward won Walter Payton.
Christian McCaffrey won the Jim Brown Award. Some of these other words are just stupid. Angry Run of the Year. Catch of the Year. Like, nobody cares.
We're not going to talk about that.
Nobody cares.
We're not going to talk about that.
I care about the playoff more than I care about those two awards. I mean, the Pro Bowl more than I care about those two awards. Speaking of, the Pro Bowl happened last week, and if you're like me, you probably half-assed watched it on a bar TV somewhere or a rerun of it as you were trying to fall asleep in your hotel room. Honestly, at this point, I think they should just cancel it because it's really not doing anything for the game. I mean, it's cool to see the players all get together and fuck around, but like, the dodgeball is cool, but like the lineman competition is kind of ass, bro. Like, let's just have a liftoff, or like, let's just have a fucking sled machine.
Cats were popping their pecs in the Pro Bowl years ago.
Or what else? What else did they do?
That sled shit was crazy. I was getting tired looking at that shit. Dodgeball was key. Baker Mayfield was Baker.
The crucial catch is stupid. I hate that one. It's just they're just trying to copy the dunk contest, which in itself is already obsolete. Honestly, all these All-Star games are kind of trash now, and it's kind of sad because I really remember them being a highlight of my childhood.
Shout out to C.J. Stroud playing in the NBA All-Star game, the celebrity game.
I heard CMC has a shot. I like to see him play in a celebrity basketball tournament one day.
That's not going to happen. He's a running back.
Low-key, the Niners got hoopers.
They do. An insane amount of hoopers. Starting with Trent Williams.
They might win a 5-on-5 basketball tournament in the NFL.
Nah, I got the Ravens. Y'all keep playing with Lamar.
Anything else on the Pro Bowl?
Actually,
nobody gives a fuck about Orlando either.
It was hard. It was hard to get through. It was hard to watch. That's why I only watched some of it when I was at work, and then I went home.
All right. Lastly, the head coaching moves.
Moving back to Hawaii.
I agree with that. All the head coaching jobs are full. Dan Quinn goes to the Commanders. What was the other one? Oh, the Seahawks job got filled.
Ravens G coordinator Mark McDonald.
Not to be confused with the singer. Exactly. David Canales with the Panthers.
Product.
Elko.
Hey, man. Nothing but legends come out of El Camino College.
LOL. Yeah, I mean, other than that, we'll get to the assistants in a little bit, but I guess it's time for college football. You want to play your Senior Bowl clips?
Yeah. I'm going to start with Latu from UCLA, the edge rusher. He dominated the first 2 days. Lost a couple reps, but like his moveset, his bag is ridiculous. And honestly, if he runs like, let's say, sub 4.5, I think he sneaks into the top 10. I don't see how he doesn't go top 10. Because when you look at
the medical,
when you look at the top 15 teams, a lot of them need pass rushers. And if teams are really going to let Michael Penix Jr. drop, let's say the Raiders, if Latu's there at 13, if the Raiders are there at 13, I don't know how you pass on Latu when you can't. You got to beat Patrick Mahomes, and Latu's right there. I don't know. This is just me. I'm going to play his sound. Just let me know if you hear it.
I don't hear anything.
Send it to you. Here. I'm going to send you like 2 of them that you can play.
All right, well, I'll just play my quick bit that I got from Michael Penix since you talked about him.
All right. Sent you Latu. I'll send you
And also, pretty much the last.
You said pretty much my last?
No, the last. All right, man. How did it feel living through both one of the most successful seasons in Pac-12 history and also pretty much the last?
You said pretty much my last?
No, the last of the conference.
Oh, man, it was good. Super blessed, to be able to finish out the season, and end it on a positive note, especially coming here and being able to compete.
And obviously, you had a great week, showed everyone what you can do. But what did you learn about yourself in this experience?
Just growth, man. Just continue to try to get better each and every day in everything that I do. That was the main goal coming here, and I feel like I did a good job of that.
And over these next couple weeks, months,
heading into the draft, is there anything specific you really want to work on, really want to fix, hone in on?
Nah, I just want to get better, 1% better each and every day.
All right, thank you so much, man. Root for you.
All right. That was Michael Penix after the game. Even though he didn't play, he had a great week.
He was the best QB by far. He didn't need to play. Sam Hartman was terrible. Bo Nix was terrible. And the one good play he had was a screen dump off. Well, to a running back. Well, I think he was.
You're like one of the last of Pac-12, athletes here.
It's crazy, right? I mean, definitely Washington put on for the Pac-12, and just never should have got rid of that conference. I mean, it's unpredictable. It's going away, but it is what it is.
Different kind of pass rushers that are out there, different kind of styles. How do you kind of adjust? Know you're going to the league. Some teams may want you to put on a little bit more weight. You also kind of don't want to lose that speed and agility. How do you kind of factor in that?
I can tell you that I'm 260 and I can keep that.
Yeah, Latu, the UCLA edge rusher. I think he checked in at like 263 or 264. Surprisingly, he doesn't look that heavy, but the man is quick and he is fast off the edge and he got some power to him. So I'm interested to see what he does, at the combine. And if his money just check out.
Brought out at SC this year. How good is it having some of your former teammates with you here? You got Brandon here. How does that help you kind of just settle down and be comfortable?
Yeah, definitely. Having Brendan here, and then as well as all my family members all my boys from South Carolina, Xavier Legette, Jaheim Bell, Spencer Rattler, having all of them just like a little family reunion is pretty cool. And it gives me a lot of, just confidence because I have a lot of people that I work with every day, workouts, do everything with. Having them here is definitely a lot of confidence, and it makes me want to go harder.
And they called you Baby Saquon at SC. Can you give us an update on some of those personal records?
Oh, no, I don't know about that. Saquon is a massive human being. He's a lot different. He's a different breed. But, I like to just call myself just Marshawn. But Saquon is a whole nother level.
You got a 40 number set in mind?
We'll see. We'll see. It'll be something. It'll be fun.
Thanks.
I was University of Southern California running back Marshawn Lloyd. He transferred from South Carolina. That's when he was talking about Spencer Rattler. He was able to get Jaheim Bell, who transferred to Florida State. But it was about South Carolina was about 10 deep at the Senior Bowl. There was a lot of South Carolina guys there. Rattler won MVP. And Marshawn Lloyd compares his running style to Josh Jacobs, but he looks faster.
What do you think about the decision to transfer? For everybody to
That's super special just because how my career has gone, and I think something that's gotten better every year of my career. And I dreamed of being in opportunities like I was last year in Florida State. Being at the Senior Bowl has always been a dream of mine. So, it's where I came from. I know the work that was put in, and behind closed doors nobody knows about. So that hits home hard for me just because it took a village to get here. And it wasn't just me. It took everybody in my corner. And, a lot of people behind the scenes don't get the credit they deserve. So it's just super special.
part about knowing the history that you made and things about this week, performance-wise, drills, one-on-ones, whatever. What stands out the most to you?
That's here is the coolest part. You got all moments at different schools have been coached by different people, so everyone's bringing different knowledge here. Coming here to retain as much information as I could was probably the biggest goal when I got here. What can I learn from other guys and the NFL coaches that are going to be here? Because ultimately, we're all going all more than just performing at practice. And if you can take away from this week, it's going to last the rest of your career.
Lastly,
What's that?
That was Florida State defensive tackle Braden Fisk. He transferred to Florida State from Western Michigan, and kind of thought his career was over at one point. Well, he talked about, the MAC and how there's a lot of great talent, but just the resources aren't there. And going to Florida State made him really appreciate the resources that he came up off on. But he was unblockable at the Senior Bowl. It's kind of a lazy comparison to say he's like Brian Breezy. Brian Breezy's more like an athletic nose tackle who doesn't really have the tools. Like Braden Fisk, looks like not quite Aaron Donald, but very close to it. He has defensive end type of bend. He looks like he could play. He considers himself a 3 technique, which I think that'll get him a first round selection. He just has to run a really good 40, but his athleticism and the way he carries his weight, he moves like he could play defensive end in multiple fronts. He could play all across the D line. Vital hands, very quick. And I think they had Jared Verse at Florida State and him next to each other. So kind of to think Florida State had all that talent and they all opted out of the bowl games, or the ones that did play, I think Fisk is going to be special. Him and Tavondre Sweat, which he might have had the funniest, one of the funniest interviews during Senior Bowl week of anybody.
All right, so I was only in Mobile for a couple of days, but Kenny's gonna drop the full episode on Anchor, hopefully sometime this year. We'll see.
Tomorrow, yeah.
But yeah, man, another year in Mobile. What's that, number 4 for us? So shout out to the city of Mobile for showing us great hospitality. Kenny finally got some decent barbecue. Still got to go see my homie Big Wig before the game. He'll actually get you some real barbecue. And shout out to Lucky's, the pub. Got free drinks there. I also got free drinks another day after that. I basically got free drinks every day I was there, honestly. So shout out to them.
Nice.
All right. But before I went to Mobile, I was in Frisco, Texas for the Shrine Bowl. It was the first time at the Dallas Cowboys practice facility. I talked to your guy, hometown kid, Taj Washington, both after the second day of practice and also after the game. He also didn't really want to commit to a 40 time, much like his teammate. But yeah, here's the first time I talked to him.
All right, man. So talk a little bit about your experience so far at the Shrine.
It's been pretty cool. Just meeting all the guys that's here. It's cool, getting to meet the guys that you've seen, from watching TV, watching them play, and finally, just being here and building relationships with those guys. Of course, just having fun here at practice, competing. It's just been a pretty cool experience so far.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, you made a couple plays yesterday, you made some plays today. As scouts and personnel people go back and look at your tape, what do you hope that they'll see that maybe they didn't see the first time around?
Just competitive nature. They're beginning to see it, at practice. Maybe, it give them a new lens when they go back and watch the film.
And at the next level, is there anyone that you model your game after? Is there any place where you feel like you're best suited as far as position, scheme?
Nothing specific. Pretty adaptable guy. Played under quite a few head coaches. So it just I feel like just go wherever I go and adapt well.
And obviously you guys didn't have the kind of season that you wanted.
Yeah.
But how do you kind of use that experience and make the most of it at the next level?
Just kind of build up a distaste. Kind of make you go harder. Just that extra try to cover some of the ground on that.
And so far, what do you think of Dallas versus LA?
I'm a Texas guy, so I've been I played my last high school game right here. So
So full
feel like
circle moment.
full circle. Feel like home.
Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much, bro.
Yeah, man. So that was Taz Washington, receiver out of USC. He definitely made himself some money over the week. Hard not to root for him.
Talk to. Yeah, great guy to talk to. Outstanding cook, chef. Like, he's just a pleasure to talk to. You learn something new every time you talk to Taj.
All right, here's another guy who made himself some money during the week. Was making plays all throughout the team. Really brought a lot of energy. And when I interviewed him, he really just kind of kept it buck. Like, he kept it 100. So I'm gonna go ahead and play. This is Mo Kamara from Colorado State. Mohamed Kamara.
Let's just start with this week. So far, a couple practicing. What's your experience been like?
I mean, my experience been good. You know, I haven't. It's hard to just say I haven't played in 2 months, and it's hard to say okay, go practice with full pads. I've never just went straight into full pads. Always had a build up and getting ready. You know, I don't know these guys, but hopefully I'll make lifetime friends, and it's hard to say okay, now these guys are your teammates. I don't know who I'm playing against. It's hard to say I spent all year, the type of person I am, I spend all year to win 12 games. I study all year for 12 games for two sets of tackles, 2 sets of guards, and the center and the backups. So, that's the most challenging part because it's that's just how I like to process things and do things. But you got to do what you got to do to win. So I'm here.
All right, that was great. That's a good answer. I don't think enough people talk about that whole overwhelming kind of everything.
No, it is some people are gonna be cool, but I'm gonna be real.
Yeah. But yeah, so last year, you really had an outstanding season. What was it that kind of helped you really break through?
Having a coach that who took the time to correct me. You know what I mean? I had 3 coaches to change between my 5 years in Colorado State.
Wow.
So, that was difficult because every spring I didn't know if I was going to get a new coach. You know what I mean? Even this last spring, I didn't know I was going to get a new coach because, there's a lot of turnaround in Colorado State. But I'm going to make the best of it. You've seen my productivity all 5 years. I've just gotten better and better because I stayed true to myself. And my coach, took the time out and corrected me. And that's the only reason why I make leaps and bounds. You know what I mean? Also took the time and be okay, let me look at myself. What I didn't do well at. What I did great at was pressure the quarterback. I had a lot of pressures my 2022 season. I think one of the most in the nation. You know what I mean?
For sure.
And it was good and all, but I need to get sacks. So I had to find ways. I had to turn my foot. I had to make sure I was doing the drills more cleanly, and then I got more sacks. You know what I mean? And I think I had 40 TFLs too. So it's just watching the film and getting better, seeing what other people are doing, and just trying to find ways to get better.
All right, man. So you can listen to that full thing on Anchor. I mean, I got almost 40 interviews. But here's the MVP, Frank Gore Jr., after the game. I also talked to him before. Talked to me a little bit about Florida. Talked to me about, carrying on his family legacy. But here he is just talking about his overall performance. He had a big run in the first half of the game. Really kind of set his team to win.
Feel now?
I feel blessed, man. Great. Got out of here healthy on a long week, but blessed to get out of here healthy, man.
What's the next step for you now after?
Going back home and training, getting ready for the combine.
Anything else specific you want to work on, hone in, fix?
I'm going to just keep getting better, well-rounded, keep growing my game, getting stronger, getting faster, and just going to be the best player I can possibly be.
Anything else you want to say about this experience at the Shrine?
Just thankful and blessed to be around all these great guys and a great event.
All right, man.
Thank you.
And for the other team, the losing team, their only touchdown came from Oregon State receiver Anthony Gould. Here he is after the game.
You made a big play. So how do you feel?
Oh yeah, first of all, I'm just thankful and blessed to be out here. It was a great week. Getting to meet a bunch of new guys from all around the country. get coached by the best in the game. So, I'm just thankful to be out here and, thankful to, meet all these new people.
And you made plays all week. Is there anything else you want to keep working on for the rest of this process?
Oh, yeah. Just keep doing me. Just put my head down and grind. The process isn't over yet. And even then, once you get your name called, there's still work to do. So, just go back to the grind, take the next couple of days off, and then, just get right back to it.
Anything else you want to say about the Shrine, the game?
Man, it was an amazing
Dallas?
opportunity. Really great cause. It was great to be out here with the kids yesterday. Wish I had more time to do that. But, I'm thankful for Eric Galco in the Shrine game, so I appreciate it.
Awesome.
But yeah, man, some other standouts from throughout the week. Just some interviews that kind of cut through. Trey Taylor, Air Force DB, he ended up winning the Pat Tillman Award at the Shrine, which is for, scholarship, sportsmanship, etc. He gave me a really great barbecue recommendation. He was real cool to talk to.
He's a ball hog, too.
Yeah, Dejon Anthony, safety from Ole Miss. He made some plays in practice. I think he moved up a little bit. He also gave me some music recommendations, and he took Rihanna over Beyonce, which was crazy. But I agree with him. There was so many people I talked to. Tracy Tyrone from Purdue. I mean, he's a guy who's not even on a lot of draft databases, but he practiced really well. He also gave me some good food recommendations in Iowa. I feel like he could move himself up into the UDFA priority range. Even the Louisville running back, Isaac Guerrero, he was talking about how he wasn't even supposed to be there, but he played well. Talked to Nikki's guy, Drake Stoops. There was a lot, man. I talked to a couple of the Michigan linemen, Trent Jones, Carson Barnhart. I spent like 10 minutes talking to Walter Roos, just kind of about OU, Stanford, the Pac-12. The Grambling State edge, Sundiata Anderson. He's really tall, really lengthy. He's got a lot of moves. I think he made himself some money. Christian Boyd out of Northern Iowa. He's a player that all the national media was really on. He has really strong hands. Bit undersized, but plays with a lot of power. I think he made himself some money for sure. Zion Logan out of Georgia. I mean, he took his lumps in practice, but he had a good game, and he just brings a lot of energy. He's got a lot of, leadership qualities and experience. He was just kind of talking to me, too, about, like, how gospel music really – a lot of players were actually talking to me about how they listen to gospel music, which I think is a tangent episode that we kind of need to dive into at some point. I talked to UCLA/Ball State running back Carson Steele. He was really cool, really energetic. Just happy to talk to me. He also gave me some. He shouted out D.D. Reese, and then he shouted out somewhere else. And then I talked to Gabriel Murphy, edge out of UCLA. He played across from Latu. He shouted out some chili cheeseburger spot by UCLA that we got to check out. He said it's fire. But he just talked about how, like, the whole edge group really just came together throughout the week. His brother, Grayson, had a huge game. He had 2 sacks. And then he just talked about, how this might be really his last game with his brother and how they've always played together, which was really cool. I mean, that D-line was kind of a problem. I think that's why they won as well. Miles Murphy from North Carolina. I didn't interview him, but he was kind of a problem all week. He's super, super big, and he moves pretty well. I think he's like a late to mid-round nose tackle that can move up the boards. But yeah, man, there was a lot of. I talked to I said this on the AP podcast with you and Phil, but I don't know if there's probably not a lot of day one guys in this draft, but there's definitely a lot of quality mid-round guys that if they go into the right position, they get some time to develop, they can turn into something. Yeah, man. I talked to Kenny Logan. He broke down both the Kansas QBs for Kenny. That was Kenny's question. Solomon
Jason Bean and
Bird.
Jalen Daniels.
Yeah, Solomon Bird from USC. He had a solid week. He made some plays. Sean Fenwick from Oregon State. He was a good interview. Honestly, all my interviews were pretty solid, so definitely go check it out. It's on our Touchdown and Tangent Overtime. You can find it on the website, touchdownsandtangents.com, or you can just type in TDTOT. It'll come up.
Most importantly, Anthony Gold, who had that punt return touchdown, was an first team All-American returner at Oregon State. Like, that's his calling card. So it'll be interesting to see what he runs in the draft because, guys who can return kicks, and you look who made All-Pro this year returning kicks. It's still it's becoming a lost art.
With that, let's move on to touchdown or turnover. All right. Let's start here with Boston College. Hafley coach leaves to be Packers DC. Touchdown or turnover?
Touchdown. I mean, what the hell are you going to do at Boston College? And on top of that, the Packers needed a defensive coordinator.
I feel like there's something in the water. I mean, we saw Chip Kelly interviewing for OC jobs. I feel like the college game just doesn't mean the same anymore. Like, it's like players. I think his quote was he wanted more time to coach football. Well, I think he was the one who said that. Just meaning basically, like, as a college coach right now, you're already spending so much time recruiting, but now you have to recruit your own players to stay. And it's just, you don't get to spend the same amount of time on actual coaching. All right. Bears hire Bills Washington as defensive coordinator. Touchdown or turnover?
I gotta say, turnover. Man, I don't know what Dan Quinn's trying to build with his coordinators, but this just looks like another failed season in DC.
Wait, well, it was the Bears.
Oh, sorry, I skipped ahead. My bad. I was like looking at the Bears thing, but sorry. Yeah, the Bears. I mean, for them, their defense wasn't really bad. So I don't know what he's gonna bring.
I feel like it's a touchdown. I feel like they're trying to get the
that.
most out of Edmonds.
I mean, but then they also have TJ Edwards there, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they paid two guys who essentially do the same thing. And I mean, I don't know. Like I just feel like it comes down to that Bears defense. If you don't re-sign Jalen Johnson, it's kind of a failure. So it doesn't really matter who the DC is. And Matt Eberflus is a defensive guy. So I feel like, the bigger issue is what is Shane Walden? Like, who are you going to – like, the Bears have bigger issues in their defense.
All right, Bienemy out in Washington. Kliff Kingsbury's in. He initially took the Raiders job, but then pulled out to the Commanders job. Allegedly, Magic Johnson, McKevin McCall. So touchdown or turnover, Kingsbury and Bienemy out in Washington.
Definitely gonna say it's a turnover, but they also hired Brian Johnson, the former Eagles offensive coordinator. So I guess like Kliff is gonna be handling the pass, the pass coordination of the offense, and Brian Johnson will probably be handling, the run game coordination. That's what I could see because he's going to be on staff doing something. I'm gonna get Dan Quinn one of his people.
I'm gonna say it's a touchdown for a couple reasons. One, I mean, Kingsbury knows Caleb Williams, right? And they're already talking about Washington moving up number 1 to get Caleb. Or if there's a scenario, there are scenarios where Caleb falls to them. So that's one part of it. Second part of it is, for whatever reason, Kingsbury has a lot of respect in locker rooms, both at the college and NFL level. Some of the people he's worked with have said he's very energetic. The players really respond to him. So I think that's good for Washington. That's trying to really change around their culture. A lot of the same things are said for Dan Quinn. I mean, they both kind of had winning records as coaches. So I think the problem with Kingsbury is he wasn't really confrontational. He didn't really hold some of his players accountable. And that's why
Kingsbury had a winning record in Arizona?
Yeah, and that's why I mean, he got them in the playoffs, bro. And then he had
I thought they were just perpetually trash.
No, well, the first year was bad. Then he got them in the playoffs the second year, and then the third year was like mid.
My thing is this. Just go look at the Notre Dame game.
But he wasn't the play caller.
Lincoln Riley was sick with pneumonia that week. They had to pull strings to make him the de facto offensive coordinator. Kliff had a huge hand in some of these games where USC got clapped. And
okay, so it's not a winning record, but he's 28-38-1.
I'm just saying, people keep thinking
and 35-40. So he's about a 44% winning percentage between college and pro.
Which would be failing.
So he's mid.
Below 50. Anything below 50%
he's mid.
Is bad.
He's mid.
He's less than mid. What I'm saying is, covering USC and just knowing what I know because I watched Texas Tech, he didn't enhance Patrick Mahomes. And then you look at Caleb. Caleb statistically had a better season this year than he did the year he won the Heisman. But he took way more sacks. And part of the reason he took way more sacks is the offense became very predictable.
All right, well, this isn't even an argument, bro. This is my time to talk.
No, I'm just saying, for people.
I know, but you ain't even let me finish.
I mean,
so again,
I was just saying, turnover, but okay.
Again, the point is, reason why I like it, the reason why I say it's a touchdown, because Kliff Kingsbury is not confrontational. Dan Quinn will do that, and he's also been a winning head coach. So I feel like that combination, and you mentioned adding the Eagles, former offensive coordinator as a buffer, I feel like that combination could be successful. But
I just don't know what Commanders fans are expecting. Because Lincoln spent way more time with Caleb than Kliff did.
For sure.
And I just don't see how making a guy who wasn't a successful NFL head coach, wasn't a successful college head coach, he pump fake USC and then came back and still managed to shoehorn his way in as some kind of a de facto OC. And then he's supposed to he just gets another job and fails upward into the Commanders gig. It doesn't make much sense to me.
I just told you why it makes sense, though.
I would rather have Chip Kelly.
I just told you why it makes sense, though, because the players like him.
Man, that's not enough. Players like Eric Bienemy too. But my point is, from a coaching standpoint, 50-50. If you're Dan Quinn and this is probably your last chance, you're gonna go with Kliff Kingsbury. when there are other guys, more proven guys out there. I forget Eric Bienemy in Washington. He was never going to stay there. But if, let's say, they end up taking...
Well, Bienemy's been hanging around the Chiefs again. So
yeah,
he installed the offense before the Ravens game. He did the last
does he
walkthrough.
get a ring? That's the real question.
I doubt it.
But I think they might. But when it comes to, like, if the Commanders, let's say, end up with Caleb Williams, okay, first off, the Commanders don't have a great record with developing black quarterbacks, even though he's like the hometown kid. But so was Dwayne Haskins, God bless dead. And obviously it's a different situation because Caleb is a much better player than Dwayne Haskins. But the Commanders have one of the worst offensive lines in football. And I don't know if you think maybe Sam Howell is a good backup, but if you plan on throwing 400 times with Caleb as a rookie, when his blitz recognition and other things weren't that great because USC's offense held him back, Lincoln Riley's offense held him back, you're going to need balance, and Kliff is going to want to probably throw the ball a lot because that's been his whole MO dating back to when he was a quarterback in college. What did Mahomes do?
All right, so the Pats hire Alex Van Pelt as offensive coordinator. Touchdown or turnover.
Turnover. That's the most Patriot shit ever. Like, honestly, I just like, so why don't you just make Brian Hoyer your OC?
All right, the Rams promoted Chris Shula to defensive coordinator. He basically had moved his way all the way up.
That's a touchdown because, I mean, Sean McVay's had a great staff and all his coaches are being rated and becoming really good head coaches and assistant coaches.
I agree with that. I say it's a touchdown. Keep the things moving and
much better than the Pats.
Well, old Brandon Staley, like, you don't need to rehash him.
The coordinator job somewhere.
The Steelers hire Arthur Smith, former Atlanta Falcons head coach, as their offensive coordinator. Touchdown or turnover?
I think there's going to be a turnover. Okay. He goes in line with what Tomlin wants, but everybody's going to realize Kenny Pickett's just not a franchise QB. And I'm not going to say it's going to cost Mike Tomlin his job, but Arthur Smith could somehow find his way becoming a head coach again because that Steelers offense falls apart and they can't get the team together. I like it. Like, so, I know the Steelers are a different organization, but how many years do you take?
I'm going to say it's a turnover just because I feel like the rumors of, like, slowly pushing the tides against Mike Tomlin have been heating up post Ben Roethlisberger. And I don't feel like Arthur Smith is the guy you want to hang potentially your last season on. Definitely. Especially considering all the talent that they had in Atlanta last year, and their offense was just flat out mid. And
it looks like you'll be shot the ball.
And yeah, you can blame that on the quarterback, but again, it's not that dissimilar from what's going on in Pittsburgh. So I don't think that's the answer. All right. Chargers head coach Jim Harbaugh hires Michigan defensive coordinator Jesse Minter for the same role with the Chargers, and he's expected to hire Greg Roman as the offensive coordinator, or at least as a high-ranking, assistant. Touchdown or turnover?
It's a win. Michigan pretty much got their whole staff rated. Sharon Moore is just sitting here like Will Smith after his father left in the house by himself. Because he lost Jesse Minter as his D coordinator. We're losing all these guys. They're coming to the NFL, and Harbaugh's put together a hell of a staff. And I think Minter is going to, kind of.
I'm going to go the other way with this, and I'm going to say it's a turnover, at least for this first season, because I feel like Harbaugh's really gonna like try to assert his will and his style, and there's gonna be growing pains. Like it's not gonna work right away. I feel like they'll probably start slow, finish strong, and then maybe next year they'll be better. But I feel like there's gonna be a big purge coming with the Chargers because not everyone's gonna buy into the Michigan way, and also Greg Roman
way.
kind of held the Ravens back. So yeah. All right. The Eagles hired Kellen Moore as their offensive coordinator, touchdown or turnover.
It's a touchdown for sure. Kind of balancing out the pass offense with the run. I think he'll do a better job in Philly than he did for the Chargers.
I mean,
the Chargers didn't really have a run game. Eckler's not really a 1,000-yard running back like that.
I mean, he helped Dak find a new level, so I feel like he could do that with Jalen.
Yeah,
they're not dissimilar. So I'm gonna say it's a touchdown as well. Luke Getsy, former Bears offensive coordinator, former Packers receiver coach, is hired as the Raiders offensive coordinator. Touchdown or turnover?
I think it's a turnover. I don't really see how. I like. There's nothing about that would suggest to me that this dude is like a rock star hire. And if you're gonna go get a quarterback, especially an athletic one, his history with athletic QBs ain't great.
Yeah, I don't really like
just
it.
To blame for Fields being bad as Eberflus was, and them not giving him any weapons, and them running an offense that doesn't even suit your quarterback skill set. Like everybody acts like Aiden O'Connell is just godsend, and it's like, bro, he's a statue.
Yeah, I don't care about that. I don't care about him beating us with with no name quarterback or no name running back. I think the reason why I like it is because, like I said, he was with the Packers, so he's worked with Bennett, he's worked with Adams, but outside of that, Bears really weren't shit on offense last year, and if anything, they got better when they kind of pushed him out. So I don't like that hire. I would have liked Bienemy over him. Or even Chip Kelly, because at least Chip Kelly is going to bring something different. And at least Bienemy, he's going to bring a certain standard and expectation and wouldn't let the bullshit fly. Getsy feels just kind of like a lame duck hire. Like, yeah, he's respectable enough to where, you can't completely tune him out. But what is he really bringing? And the truth is, if they bring in Hugh Jackson or they bring in, all these other high-ranking assistants like they're planning, is it cool?
Too many chefs in the kitchen.
Exactly.
What do I listen to?
Exactly. All right. Raheem Morris putting together his staff, hires Zac Robinson as offensive coordinator. Rams assisted Jimmy Lake as defensive coordinator. Touchdown or turnover?
Touchdown. Jimmy Lake produced at least 20 NFL defensive backs in his time. And Atlanta has great DBs. He's dealing with grown men, not college kids. So his teachings and words won't fall on deaf ears. And Zac Robinson's going to get the most out of whoever's at QB and then that offense. So I think Raheem Morris is set up outstandingly with the staff that he's put together.
All right, take your tangent. Kobe's first of 3 statues revealed. I'm gonna just say this: not a fan of the first one. That's all. Great for him getting a statue, but I'm not a big fan of this first one. Hopefully, the next ones are better. And did they win? Let's see if they even won. They lost to Denver. So there you go. Kenny.
Say it again.
Kobe statue revealed. Take or tangent.
Okay, cool. You were cutting out. Excellent that he's getting 3. His wife said that he picked that pose. Now I don't know who made the statue, but they might want to think about getting another person. Could have been more of a Kobe. If that's the pose Kobe chose, then you just gotta respect it. But I'm excited to see the other 2.
Vince
That
McMahon.
was 8.
Vince
There's 24, and then one. So there'll be one with him and his daughter.
Vince McMahon resigns from WWE after sex abuse allegations. Take or tangent.
Yeah, Vince McMahon's a fucking piece of shit. It came out. Ashley Massaro, she killed herself years ago. She was with the WWE. She was raped during a tribute with the troops, allegedly. There's a whole rape kit. There's a whole evidence. And then WWE and John Laurinaitis was pretty much turning on Vince and is starting to snitch and reveal all the stuff to get the heat off his ass. Pretty much came out and was like, yeah, we knew about her getting assaulted. We kind of kept it hush hush because NCIS was on the case. And it was like someone in the Navy pretending to be an Army doctor, and it was a whole situation. But then they forced her to kind of like send in an apology letter. And like this woman eventually ended up killing herself. And it was like an open secret. Like everybody knew what was going on. And then there's like a bunch of other former divas, former, employees coming out like, yeah, we dealt with a bunch of shit. They tried to destroy our careers. Renee Dupree, Paul London, countless other wrestlers out there on podcasts been talking about this for years. And Vince is just a nasty, racist piece of shit.
Yeah, I don't have much to say.
Play some hell for people like that.
I'm not an expert on it like you are, but I think we've always kind of had the vibe that McMahon's a piece of shit, like you said. But beyond that, I just think it's great timing how he just sold the team. How he just sold the whole brand in a year ago in the merger, and they just did that big deal. So it's like he's old enough to where he's lived a good life. Whatever time he has to do will probably be easy. And he's paid, and his whole lineage is paid for a while. So how much is he really going to suffer?
He's not really going to suffer at all. And his kids don't even fuck with him like that. Stephanie and Shane, and his wife is only married to him for marriage reasons, like financial reasons. From Triple H, or I should say Paul Levesque, how do you have your 3 daughters around that man? Stephanie don't even really fuck with him. He reminds you about a year and a half ago, he left and then changed his mind to help foresee the merger with TKO, force Stephanie out and a bunch of other people out. He was the only person, to force him out, he had to sign off on being forced out from WWE. That's how rock solid. His personal attorney retired and was like, I'm not handling this shit. I'm not doing this shit. Mind you, his attorney, he's had this man for probably about 40 years. And this dude was riding with him through the steroid era, Crispin Wall, all this other stuff. And that dude said, yeah, I'm out. I'm done. So this situation, with the person he was allegedly human trafficking and passing off to other employees. Like it's nasty, and I'm just glad more people are really speaking up about shit like this because it happens every day. But then people get their lives destroyed behind stuff like this.
All right.
And then people call them bitter later in life, and it's like, nah, this person's a bully. You may not like the person who's coming out to speak, but it's a nasty human being.
All right, Jackie Robinson's statue was cut at the ankles, stolen from Kansas Park. Take your tangent. During Black History Month, shaking my fucking head.
People love defiling black, just anything, really. They still shoot at Emmett Till's grave. They still shoot up Fred Hampton's grave. I mean,
all right.
It's just what's happening. It's out there.
Travis Kelce breaks Jerry Rice's career playoff catch record. Take your tangent.
It's cool. Well, I mean, Jerry's still the GOAT. I think when Travis retires, he'll be seen as the greatest tight end of all time. Hard to argue it.
It's funny. They were saying, I forgot who said it. I think it might have been Pat, but he said Travis is Andy Reid's favorite. And Travis on this press conference was like, I mean, I'm the longest tenured chief. Like, I would hope I built up enough favoritism, like, over 13 years. Like,
and it's crazy. Andy was going to get him 1,000 yards. He only needed, like, I think he was like 20 or 30 yards away. And Travis was like, nah, I'm good. Save me for the playoffs. Like, Buddy broke his own streak of consecutive 1,000-yard receiving seasons for a tight end just to be ready for the playoffs.
Yeah, man. I mean, for you know, the character that he is, I feel like that kind of gets taken out of context. Like, I feel like he is that, but I feel like he's also just kind of like a dude who's just happy to be there.
Yeah, like once you get past all the antics and the fact that he switched up once he started dating white women again, you know, he's a Hall of Fame tight end. Like, he's, I think, a more happy-go-lucky version of what Gronk couldn't be in New England. Yeah. Travis got to be that in Kansas City. Because he was, what, like a third-round pick? A bunch of teams, including the Ravens,
and minus the back issues? The debilitating back issues?
Well, he broke his back at Arizona, so, I mean...
That's what I mean.
Like, but Kelce, like, turned himself into an all-pro tight end. Whereas Gronk had that expectation
but
of being great.
Got sidetracked because of the injuries.
With the injuries. Like, if you take out the injuries, everybody like, Gronk's unguardable.
Well, yeah, he was supposed to be a first-round pick, but injuries.
Broke his fucking back.
Mm-hmm. Tom Brady's moving into the broadcasting booth. Official, he made the announcement. Fox is going to be taking Greg Olsen off the air as a color commentator and to make room for Brady. Take your tangent.
Somebody going to give Greg Olsen a bag. And you know what?
I think we're all just tired of Tony Romo. I think that's what it came down to.
I mean, I'm not tired of Tony Romo because I don't really care for CBS football games anyway. But it was nice to have Greg Olsen. Now, Tom Brady's probably going to be saying some stuff. But, like, I think Greg Olsen needs to be somewhere calling football games. His expertise and his knowledge.
The Orange Bowl.
Maybe he tries to get a front office job. I don't know. But, like, Greg Olsen needs to be a focal point of some network.
I'm not that high on Greg Olsen. He's better than Chris Collinsworth, but he's not that special in my eyes. I mean, I'm interested to see what Brady brings.
If he goes back to college,
we've been slowly getting more and more Brady personality over the past few years. So I'll be interested to see how this kind of plays out.
I mean, he has to be better than Drew Brees, right?
For sure. All right, man. Let's wrap up the show. Anything you want to leave the people with? Rant about?
My birthday, my 32nd birthday is, let's see, 12 days from now? No, 11 days from now. 32 got here very quickly. I got to see my nephew today. He's starting to talk and use more words. So that's beautiful. That's dope. Shout out to my mom, my sister. And yeah, this is like the first time. Like I'm actually off Super Bowl Sunday. It's kind of weird. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't even know if I'm gonna watch the Super Bowl. Like that's how much I don't give a shit about this Super Bowl. Like I just don't care for it. I don't care to see these two teams play. I hate the storyline. I'm glad somebody's gonna win the Super Bowl, but like I'm just not looking forward to the amount of like jock sniffing and like just tank eating that's gonna come with whoever wins the Super Bowl, and this is gonna be never ending. I'm just gonna be sick about it. Like, ugh. But anyway, it's Black History Month, so be less racist and check people who are racist. And when you're talking to Black people, understand we're not a monolith, and try to get rid of some of your prejudices or whatever the fuck you have going on, and stop thinking that, like, don't ask Black people to teach me how to swag surf, because that defeats the purpose of swag surfing. It's on you. It's either in you or it's not. Like, and please, yeah, just please don't be swag surfing out here. And if Taylor Swift does some swag surfing shit, like, I just need you to shout that down from the rooftops. Like, be an ally. Nobody wants to see that shit. I don't want to see uncoordinated, drunken fucking sliding from side to side. And it's probably going to take over the Twitter feed if the Chiefs win, but just certain shit just needs to be called out for being corny. And I feel like we just need to do that. And yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
All right, man. Well, I just want to say,
great job reporting, by the way.
Thanks. I just want to say, yeah, I'm grateful, man, for the past couple weeks. Had a good opportunity to get back on the reporting grind. At first, I was a little rusty, especially that first day of the Shrine practice. But at the end of the day, man, once I got into it, it was just a matter of just talking to guys about football, and it was really fun. Like, I enjoyed it. I got a lot of energy from it, especially when you ask these guys like a question that they haven't been asked all day, or a question that shows like, hey, you know a little bit about their background, or that you're interested in them. You're interested in the thing that they're passionate about, their position, the intricacies of their position. Like, but you're not trying to be the star of the question by, like I said, telling so much, showing so much, like trying to overcompensate, but you just ask what you really want to know. And I feel like that for me, really helped me kind of find my space in a sea of hundreds of media over the Shrine Bowl, Senior Bowl, and Super Bowl. Like, because these players know, they know, like, they've been around media their whole lives pretty much at various levels. So, like, they know phony. And when you talk to these players and especially, like, the prospects, and, they just shake your hand and, like, give you that bro hug, that bro handshake, the bro dab, and it's like some people try to force it because they want it to be on their Instagram feed, they want it to be on their video, they ask for selfies or whatever. But like when the player like genuinely initiates it with you because they appreciate that, you care about them, you care about the question you're asking, you care about learning about them, like they just overall respect you. I think that's the best feeling. And even in the press conference environment, the Super Bowl, it's like when you ask them a question and you just see their whole body language change, you see their head shift, and they sit back in their chair, they nod their head, and they're like really thinking about it. And then they say what they're gonna say, and you say thank you, and they just say no problem, or they say no, thank you. It's a great feeling because yeah, this person might not know my name or pick me out of a lineup, but if they hear their answer back, they're gonna be like, "Damn, that was some insightful shit that I said. Like that was a good question. I'm glad I answered that. I'm glad I answered it that way." And just as someone who wants to get these player stories out there, that's the most fulfilling thing for me, because I think a lot of these media people, they're happy to be there, and I was too. Like I said, I'm grateful for the opportunity. But it's an opportunity. I'm not there for me. I'm there to help these players talk their shit, tell their story, share their background. And that's really how I approached it this week. And I feel like I really found my space, especially going after the West Coast players, because there wasn't a ton of them. And I think when I asked them about California or Oregon or where they played in the Pac-12, it was like they were excited to hear it. And even just from the touchdowns and tangents angle, asking them about the culture of the college that they came from, the culture of the position group that they come from, or even just the intricacies of their position, like linebacker, why you like playing D-line, why you like playing guard, all that stuff. I feel like the players really appreciated it. And yeah, man, outside of that, shout out to all my teammates who supported me. Shout out to all my reporter friends who supported me. Shout out to everyone I reconnected with this week. Shout out to Kenny, man, for being an inspiration to me, and also giving me some research and some producer level questions that I really kind of fell back on as a parachute when I needed it. But yeah, man, I'm not like Justin Reed said, I'm not here on my own. I'm here because people supported me. I'm here because I've learned the game and shared the game with so many different people. I'm here because I've watched and I've imitated and emulated and studied all these different media people, and ultimately I just enjoy it. So just grateful for the opportunity, and the next time I get it, I'm gonna be even better. So excited about that. But yeah, this is Touchdowns and Tangents, TDs_tangents on Twitter and Instagram, touchdownsandtangents.com, your favorite podcast app. Thank you for listening to us. This has been our Super Bowl times College All-Star Game Special Edition 2023-2024. Shout out to Nikki. Hope you're okay. We're here for you. Take your time.
Happy birthday, Jay Diller's 50th birthday.
Yep. All right. Well, we're out. Peace.
Peace.